Well, this is awkward. As always, if you have been enjoying the series up to this point, do smash a like. That would be tremendous. Helps out the channel. Love those algorithm ultras and all that jazz. So we're in a bit of a sticky spot here, friends. It's not the end of the world, as of course we were planning to leave Dagger Forge at the end of the season. Our contract expires in a month. We were just going to walk away nice and happy. But we've been called into a meeting with the board, which is ironic because they're rating my performance as a C. So it's weird that they're saying, hasn't been good enough. The board is satisfied with your management of the team. Which is it? Pick one, please. So I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but I think we could end up getting pushed before we jump at this point. Not happy with the current performance and are considering your position at the club. We would like to know why the team have performed so bad. Did you witness the last game? We won 6-0, Jerkin. 6-0. Table doesn't show that. I mean, that's actually kind of true. Did you see tangible proof in the case? Could I show you the XG table, Joachim? I know you're interested. 7 points from the next 5 matches, which is actually completely understandable, but at the same time, didn't we gain way more than that in our last 5 matches? Oh, wow, they actually agreed to it. Jesus Christ. I don't know why I'm even doing this. We're leaving in a month, but I kind of want the opportunity to do so without being sacked, because I worry that a sacking could potentially hurt our reputation. I'll do that. Our contract expires anyway, so I think this has just prevented us from getting the sack. We've kind of negotiated our way out of the sack so we can resign on our own terms, damn it, Joachim. You ungrateful bastard. Won your promotion, got you into Europe, and this is how you treat me. I guess now all there's left to do is get to the end of the month and just slowly slide out the back door with all our bags packed. I actually don't think it matters that much whether I resign now or whether I resign after our contract has expired, but I like to do it for completionist purposes. Okay, so technically our contract has expired, so I guess it's time to hand in our resignation now. Sorry, the board. It's also worth noting this is the first episode or anything I've recorded on the brand new winter patch with lots and lots of changes being made to it, so we'll see how that one pans out, shall we? I thought they'd fix that, but apparently not. It was in the patch notes and everything. So slight problem. The game won't let me resign. The resign button doesn't do anything. This is ridiculous. Have they actually broken the resign button with the update of the game? It just keeps saying I'm still here. So something in this new update has broken the ability to resign from your job. Maybe it's because the contract's expired, but that never was a problem before, and now it is. Superb. So I think we might actually now have to force ourselves a way to get sacked, because I don't know how else we were going to be able to do this, because obviously we're not going to stay for another season. I never said we would, but that is extremely annoying, because I hope that doesn't cost us reputation points if we do get sacked, because the problem is now, when we go into job interviews at our next club, they'll ask me about being sacked by our previous club as opposed to resigning. That's very irritating. So just to clarify one more time, if you go into here, contract, resign, it says, do you wish to resign with immediate effect? Yes. And then it just takes me back to the same menu. And then if I progress a day, we're just still in the job. Right, so I'm going to have to find a club vision item thing that I can hopefully force the issue on and get them to sack me. Which is very irritating that this is the thing we're going to have to do, but I don't see any way around it, unfortunately. Improved youth recruitment. There's no way they're going to do that. Watch them now start accepting all of my requests. Okay, good. They rejected it. So now we should be able to... I don't think I can stay here if this is something the board aren't prepared to do. Part company. Okay, cool. Right, okay, consider this me handing in my resignation. So this is still me resigning. Wish you all the best. Okay, does that at least... Yes! Okay. Okay, so there's a thing we've learned anew. The resign button on the contract menu doesn't work anymore, but you still can resign if you force it through a board meeting. So a workaround has been found. We are now finally unemployed. A few days late, but nevertheless, we're there. That's the main thing, right? But just bear that in mind for your saves. I'd be interested to whether that works, whether or not your contract is expiring or not, actually. Wouldn't it have been bloody hilarious if they'd just given in to me and been like, fine, we'll upgrade the youth recruitment. I could have asked for anything. Should have asked for a new stadium. But now... the fun can begin and the job hunt can begin. So we're looking at Finland, Denmark, and Norway for this particular round of jobs. Hopefully, I feel like we should be able to walk into a lot of decent jobs in these leagues, given our rep, which hopefully has not suffered, actually. Let's think about this for a second. Nope, that looks like 40% still. Yes, no, that's good. We're right where we should be. And I think it will still count as resigned. Except in more superb news now, if I try to filter out nations, it doesn't exclude them. Do I actually have to filter out the individual divisions now? Would that literally only exclude the Swedish national team job? I swear that used to just exclude, that's how I was always doing it, jobs from Sweden. So now I've got to find all these damn leagues. Yeah, I think that's correct. So there are 3 jobs currently going at the moment. Now, we really need to be looking for top flight jobs at this point. I don't see there's any reason that we should be able to take a second tier job. There's only one top flight job available currently, but that is at Sarpsborg. Now, first things first, have they won any Elite Syrian titles? Yes, they have. You bastards, why were you so good for one season in 2008? So that immediately rules them out. I'm going to apply for the Sarpsborg job anyway, because they're 5th in the top flight, which is a pretty good season for them, I would say. Let's just have a little gander at how well that... But they're only just off the outskirts of Europe, so that's a hell of a year. And my theory is if we were able to get one of these jobs, or like be in the running for it, it would give us an idea of where we could potentially land. Also, just notice that Viking were relegated, but are going to be playing in the Europa League next season. So good stuff. They're the Wigan of Norway. So we'll apply for that. and then see what happens. Respond in the near future. Good news. I'm just looking through teams in the top flight of these leagues to see who are actually manageable for us at the moment. Sarpsborg, they count. Tromso, they count. Ålesund, Haugesund, Kongsvinger, Kristiansand. There's not a lot of options. I do wonder if maybe we've bitten off more we can chew with that. In Denmark, Randers are available. Vendsyssel, Viborg. There's not a lot of them. Literally, the only top flight side in Finland that have not won the top flight is Equines at the moment. When I originally set out with this challenge, I was kind of using the same logic that I'd used in Outcast to Icons, because that's how I did it. However, it stands to reason that a lot more teams would have won their domestic titles than teams would have been in European finals because of historical tradition in those leagues and the sort of swirling times. I do wonder if that stipulation is going to make it virtually impossible at some point. I will still focus on that for this job potentially, but I think after that it might be something we potentially have to drop because it would become literally impossible to manage a club at any point and still be able to keep the save moving. The other change potentially could be, we could always switch it to something like hasn't won it in the last 10 or 15 or 20 years or something like that, just to make it so we can actually get a job. Okay, so Stabæk have offered us a job interview, which is good. They hilariously have a slight reluctance towards, because I have a reluctance towards making set pieces a part of our approach, which is absolutely hilarious given that we literally are one of the top scorers in set pieces in virtually every season of this save. I do think that's kind of dumb that unless you specifically have play for set pieces turned on, the game's like, well, he's really not trying to score goals from corners. It's like, no, we just score loads from them. That's fine, though. But let's see what this goes like. Ooh, I like the kits. Thomas Tengstad. Never managed in the country. This is true. Lacks variety in our opinion. How many jobs do we have to have before they stop saying that? Looking to step up. Good news. I've worked with bigger clubs. I haven't, but let's see if he believes me. Apparent failure to cultivate a strong dressing room atmosphere. Yeah. A little bit. Confident I can do better than my predecessor. I'm not entirely sure what the promise is, though. I'll be better than him, but how was him? How good was him? I think I'll just go my record speaks myself here. I don't like making promises where I have no idea what the promise actually is. They want entertaining, high-pressing football, making the most of set pieces, lol. They want to expand the stadium. Oh, good. I can see that one being an absolute money pit. They actually have, wow, Europa League. That's quite high up, isn't it? Best of the... Wow, they've got lofty ambitions. They better have money to go with it. £3 million. Okay, they do have some money to go with it, in fairness. What about their wage budget? 85 grand. I mean, it's definitely more than we were on at Degerfors by a considerable margin. Even our latest season at Degerfors, you saw they were offering us, I believe, £58,000 a week was our wage budget, I think. So this is a big step up even from that. So I guess that's agreeable. Not that we can take this job at the moment anyway, but I'd be interested to see if they offer us the job, because I think if they do, it would give me a real good stake as to what we could potentially get over this period. And I think really it would be enough to get us any of the jobs that we're potentially able to get. And all of those top flight teams I've looked at, I think, are of equal or lower rep than Stabæk, which is a shame. Couldn't they have just not won that one title? So Stabæk turned us down. Oh, God. Oh, it's going to be a long one, friends. That is not what I was looking for. How good is the guy they replaced they went for instead? Yeah, he's all right. He's a bit all right, isn't he? But our win percentage is better. And he's the former Tromso manager too. So maybe we can sneak into his old job at some point. In fact, that's literally the job he was just in. Wait, hang on. Does that mean that the Tromso job's available? Because did he just leave them for them? Or was he unemployed by... Oh, hang on a minute. The Tromso job is available. Well, now we have to apply. Because Tromso, of course, no top flight titles to their name. I believe their highest ever finish is 3rd. I might be wrong about that. They've done well in the past in a few years. I love that we've still got our old kits from our season with Tromso on stream last year in there too. Good side. Good value. How has their results been in this save so far? So they've kind of been a bit yo-yo-y, but they've also finished as high as 5th in the Eliteserien at times. 12th, 9th. They're sort of a mid-table side. Lower mid-table other than that one sort of excessive season they've had. But... there's definitely something here, and I guess what better place for Khaled to disappear to than the bastard Arctic Circle? Get a lot of thinking done up there, I suspect. So they've replaced me at Degerfors with, presumably, the old Östersunds manager. Oh, hello, here we go. They've come in for it. Well, it's a job interview at this point, and we didn't get the Stabæk one, so I'm not too hopeful, but I think Tromso is a step down, quite clearly, from Stabæk. So maybe we're not quite able to get those jobs yet, as we've already proven, which I guess limits the amount of options we've got even more so. Right, so following our application, that's good. One of the reasons the board have decided to offer you the interview, it'll be good for the club's realistic vision. Nothing about set pieces. Thank you, Runa. Mainly a result of your strong commitment towards signing first team players no older than 23. That actually does fit in quite nicely with what we want to do. Is this the match made in heaven? Now, obviously, given that I managed Tromso on stream last year, I wasn't like desperate to get the Tromso job during this save, particularly for that reason. But I also wouldn't be opposed to it, particularly if we find ourselves in a pickle where the limited number of jobs available, not even available, but the limited number of jobs that we could even potentially get is very small. Let's see how the interview goes. Never managed in the country before. Standard. Variety. You know what? Let's try the ask for chance one. See if I can do something. Oh, media controversies. Okay, we can promise that. Better job at managing dressing room atmosphere. Yep, we'll try our best. Oh, but their previous managers did. That's fine. We only have to outdo the previous manager. So it was very much liked by our fans. Well, I mean, he left, didn't he? So you can't like him that much if he's pissed off. Comfortable working with limited resources. That does worry me a little bit, but I guess we'll have to look. Okay, so long-term vision. Work within wage budget. Fine. That's fine as well, because that's what we'd be doing anyway. Maximum 1-year contract. Wow, they don't want long contracts for the older players, which is fair. Mid-table, fine. Top half. They certainly have plans. Also, it doesn't say anything about repairing financial damage. That was what I was worried about when they said limited resources, but there's nothing here about that, and that's usually a good sign. So Elite Syrian's a 16-team league, much like the Allsvenskan, so mid-table, I think, is anywhere from about 11th up to about 7th, I think. It's hard to tell. Transfer budget of £70,000. It's not a lot, let's be honest. It's not a lot. What about the wages? A wage budget of 69. That's that glitch again, isn't it? Great. Good. Brilliant update. Fixing all the glitches I see. So yeah, the wage budget is not £69,000 because that's not how they represent wage budgets. Also, why would it be the same as the transfer budget? So we don't know what the wage budget's actually going to be, which is just terrific. We'd find out if they offered us the job because it would tell us there, but still, little things like, come on. Okay, well, I don't know. I actually don't know if they are going to offer us this, to be honest. They didn't seem to go that well. Okay, that didn't take long. It's actually a lower wage budget than that which we had at Degerfors. The wage itself is massive by comparison. I think it's more than double what we were on at Degerfors, so that's definitely a step up. The actual wage budget the club has itself is lower. Make no mistake about that. They didn't mention anything about being a step up as well, so it would indicate that they feel that it was around about the same kind of level as Degerfors. Oh, God. We're going to delay, obviously, because we can. I wonder if this is not the... I don't know. I do wonder if I'd be selling us short slightly by trying to go for this job when actually we could potentially get a better job that's somewhere in between Starbæk and Tromso, both geographically and financially. Let's see who the other jobs that could potentially come up are, and then make the decision. So 3-star rep for Sarpsborg, okay finances. 3-star rep, okay finances. 3-star rep, okay finances. And then slightly worse is Kongsvinger. So they'd actually be a lower rep side. And then Kristiansund is the same. In Finland, literally the only viable job is Ekines, and that's 2-star, 2-star. Not that I'm picking it purely based on that, it's just that's where it's worthy of note. And in Denmark, there's even less jobs that could potentially come in, because so many of these top flight sides have won this league. So it's 3-star, 3-star for Randers as well. 2.5, 2.5 for Vendsyssel. 2.5, 2.5 for Viborg, and that's literally it. Now, it is worth pointing out, though, that even the likes of Rosenborg, with their 27 titles, still only have 3-star, 3-star rep. They do have better finances. So it's not the be-all and end-all. It kind of feels like the jobs at this level are very much of a muchness. Maybe the club's estimated value is a better idea of who's the better one. Tromso's value is 18 million. Haugesund's is 8. Kongsvinger's 3. Kristiansund is 25 million. Oh, this is tough, man. This is tough. And this is why I think that, in fact, I'll ask you this question now, because I feel like this is going to be something that we'll have to revisit anyway. What would you say is the acceptable gap in terms of the number of years since the last title if we had to change up the stipulations slightly to make this save possible, to still keep a little bit of a restriction in there? Would you say 10 years since the last title, 15, 20? I'm curious. Let me know your figures and we'll sort of base it around that a little bit. Not for this job, obviously, because I won't know, but for the next one potentially after that. So it might allow us a bit more wiggle room when actually picking a job. Because for me, the only other job that I would say, although they do have that bloody make samosa set pieces shit again, is this one at Kristiansund. But this is the same manager they've had for the entire year, and they nearly got relegated last year, but they've kept him in the job. And I don't know whether they would have the same poorness of season next year as well. I've just noticed this. Tromso are in the Europa Conference League, I think. I don't know how. Europa Conference League, not judging. How did we get in the This is intriguing now. Oh, they won the cup. They won the cup in 2027, so they played in the Europa League. So they played in the Europa League and then the Europa Conference League. Technically, that season of Europa League, or Europa Conference League in this case, is still carrying over into the current season because of the fact that technically the European seasons are different. And as a result, it still thinks that that is this season. I think that has to be what it is. I don't know why that took me so long to figure that out. You know how these Summer League, Winter League things can be confusing for me, particularly when Europe is involved. The other advantage of taking over at a club now would, of course, be the fact that we would, particularly with Norway, actually get a pre-season, because Norwegian leagues, as far as I remember, doesn't start till like April. So we'd actually have time to maybe do some signings. Not that we'd have any money. We'll find out about that. But it would also at least give us a chance to do some tactics tests rather than taking over mid-season. But yeah, it's all kind of up in the air. But as it is, it's the only job available at the moment in any of those countries, let alone leagues. Well, Tromso are back again, and I don't think I can delay this anymore. They do at least seem to have some ambition. It's a real simple conundrum where I think we've assessed that there is probably only 7 teams that are actually manageable at the moment, and Tromso are one of the highest, or certainly level highest with any of the others. And arguably, Kristiansund would be the only team that might have a slightly bigger bit of clout to them as far as their financial clout behind them. The problem is we can't guarantee they're going to be as bad this season as they were last season. And even then, with them nearly getting relegated, they didn't sack their manager. So I just don't think there's any guarantee that they would do the same again, wouldn't do the same again this year should they be in peril and then not sack them, and we'd end up in a worse job potentially. I think we might actually end up taking the Tromso job right now. I don't think that... I think it puts us in the best position to build a squad for the season, have a proper preseason, and get stuck into a full year rather than taking over midway. Although I do like doing that sometimes. It's a bit of fun to be thrown in, as we were during the first couple of seasons of this save. It seems like it's Tromso AL. Okay. I wonder what the squad's like compared to what it was when I was managing them on the very start of FM21. They say you should never go back to an X, but I don't know. I wonder if we can rekindle our love for a little bit and allow us to springboard into something after that. Or watch it all go to absolute shit. But that's the part of the fun of these kind of saves, isn't it? So, let's do it. Start negotiations. Ironically, my watch just flashed up to tell me that a game between Lillestrøm and Tromso has just started. I don't know if you can see that, but something tells me that might be fate. Also, what are they doing playing at 11 AM on a Friday? Also, time differences, Matt, you mug. I mean, I can't really complain about these options, can I, really? £2,800 a week. It's a lot more than Calais was on before. I guess we just finalised deal. Forsberg takes over at Tromso. I could have done the whole thing myself, really, couldn't I? But there you go. Media prediction 10th. Fierce rivals, obviously, Bodder. Assistant manager, Jürgen Wieck. Lars Petter Andersen, of course, is the director of football. Nothing's really changed there. Sanance is okay. Good, excellent, which is nice. The fact that they won the cup quite recently does give me a little bit of hope that potentially the Norwegian Cup could be an element of us potentially getting some European football for them. Maybe. Although we could just, I don't know. I think there's something we can build here. I'm intrigued by it. Didn't expect to find myself at Tromso during this save, honestly, but I guess the stars have just aligned. Now, I suspect, as we suspected last time, that this is not actually their system. Okay. We are in. Oh, youth intake preview straight off the bat. Anything good? Hey, what a start. This is obviously a lie, because if it's so good, why is it that there is only one A-rated player and at least one of our fullbacks, I suppose? Watch it just be full of A-rated fullbacks. That would be lovely. But I suppose at least walking straight into a golden generation isn't the worst thing in the world, but I've been burned before, and we now know that these are complete nonsense. Is that Thai name? Yes, he is. They've got a Thai striker who's actually got decent finishing. Okay, we'll come back to that in a sec. Luckily, I wasn't an idiot this time, and I remembered to pack our tactic with us this time, rather than having to go back to an earlier version of the save to pull it out of it. So yes, we did actually bring it. It's like forgetting your keys when you leave the house. I mean, look, let's put it this way. It's not good, because they've not really ever been in the black, it would seem. They're just hovering around levels of debt. But, although it does worry me that it says players sold. So, who have they just sold, is my question. It was only 100k, but still. We do at least have some wage budget, so that's something. I've just noticed that. There is wage budget available. Let's have a little look. So yeah, 5k wage budget available there, 70k there. There's some appearance money that we could potentially cash in. So that's only, no, that's barely anything, 20k. What about you? Yeah, it's the same thing. We could obviously shift some of the transfer budget over into wage budget, but given that the average wage at this club is £900 a week, that would suggest that even an above average starter is probably not on more than about 12 to 1500, I would suggest, which means that there is room here to bring in a couple of guys, should we need to. I suspect we probably will. Because let's have a look at the squad. Sort just by ability straight off the bat. So we've got Albert Grönbeck is our central midfielder. And, oh, now he's more of an advanced playmaker. But then again, as a deep line playmaker on support, his positioning is the one thing that lets him down there. But, although it could be the attacking midfielder. Either way, I think he'll definitely find a nice little slot into this squad. He's a quality player. Likes big matches too. Big fan of that. There's also Gambian James Gomez. Oh, very interesting. Really solid centre-back. He's not the tallest in terms of his actual overall height, but he has got 14 jumping reach, and he's very, very, very quick for a centre-back anyway. He feels like the perfect guy to sit in the middle of that back three, potentially. The Gambian international. Wow, he's worth a lot of money, and his contract expires at the end of the year. They've also got Bubu Conte, who annoyingly is a left-sided player. Could he do a job through the middle? The agility could certainly be interesting there. He doesn't have the jumping reach, but I think we'd certainly find a use for Bubu Conte, no doubt, and potentially that could be his spot. Frustrating that he is a wide man, though. Goalkeeper, Bartosz Mrozek. He's not spectacular, but he's solid. Adam Hellborg is a defensive midfielder, but that suggests to me, please don't be right-footed. Oh, yes. Right-footed, ball-winning midfielder, comfortable, that's fine. Adam Hellborg can easily sit as that ball-winning midfielder option in our midfield, so that's good. Jonathan Linseth, who is he's a natural box-to-box midfielder. Oh, you just love it, don't you, when you find a natural box-to-boxy boy. Jonathan Linseth, what's his left foot? Oh, and he's left-footed as well. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, he's left-footed as well, gets forward whenever possible. He actually is a box-to-box, and that's hard to come by. What's his work rate like? Yeah, work rate's decent, stamina's decent. I like that a lot, which would suggest to me that I'd pay that playmaking guy slightly further up. We don't use a box-to-box midfielder anymore. Oh, God, I've forgotten. that might be something we may have to revert to. We may switch back to box and AP, because that might suit the players we've got a little bit more. And I don't think it was working so well with the way we had it set up anyway. They've got Julius Eskison. I don't know if I actually showed you Julius Eskison during our transfer window episode with Degerforge. I tried to sign Julius Eskison, and I forgot that he then moved to Tromso. So, hey, Julius, I'm back. Although he is wanted by someone. No longer require his serve. Are you joking? Hang on, wait. And I wouldn't be opposed to this. It looks like there's a few extra wide players at this club. We could maybe shift someone like Eskison on for that kind of money. It would really change things financially for the club, but also it would free up some cash for us to rebuild the squad a little bit. So I wouldn't be opposed to that if he actually is wanted. There's also Henrik Solskjaer. 6'1", 14 jumping reach again. Solid heading. Great bravery. I think he'd be a decent centre-back for us. Alexander Bernhardsson is the... I'm not seeing a lot of wing-backs, which concerns me. That might be an area that we'll definitely need to invest in, potentially, because there's a lot of wingers and not a lot of wing-backs. Frederick Pallison Knudsen, who I presume would be the other of the three centre-backs, who's not, again, not bad, decent height. Jumping reach is okay, ironically less than the guy who's 6 foot tall, but that stands to reason. Then you've got classic Kent Ore Antonsen, who actually... Is he left-footed? Yes, he is. Could play wing-back for us with his crossing. He's not got the speed, because he's 33, but... What a guy. Because I don't know if you've noticed yet, friends. I haven't seen a striker yet. Has anyone else seen a striker yet? There he is. Mikael Indestad with 6 finishing, but 12 passing. Oh, please tell me he's got... Okay, so at least we have a deep line forward there in Mikael Indestad, who is 6'2", good jumping reach. Heading's not fantastic, but he's got good passing, good vision, good composure as well. He reminds me of like a Kvistgaard type of guy, but might actually be decent. So I'm genuinely pleased with that. I hope we have a striker to go alongside him before I have to bring in Sasha Angelkovic. Borgström as well, who is a right wing back, sort of. That does worry me a little bit because I didn't see a striker other than my man Indestad. Not a single recognised striker in this team. There's the Thai guy. I suppose there's the Thai guy, but he lacks the physical ability. He's got good finishing and composure, but he's certainly nothing spectacular. Because there is Tromso... Wow, God, have you got enough squads here, lads? Right, Tromso 2. Anyone good in here? Any strikers, more specifically, in here? No one with mad potential. Although Jan Pedersen, again... Wow, he's not bad, actually. But again, in a position that we're not really needing right now. Oh! He's another midfielder. Although... Lennart Sigvaldsson. Wow. If you can get that aggression up a little. He's a bloody potential... He's a potentially very good ball-winning midfielder. To have 16 tackling already is great. Again, injury-prone consistency issues, though. But just the fact that he's just chilling there. What about under-19s, considering... Oh! Okay. God, this is not bad, actually. Jonas Leastuen. No, Leastuen. 6'3", decent jumping reach. Good work rate. Great work rate. Great teamwork, actually, as well. Tackling's not bad. Marking's okay. Positioning's... Heading is the real letdown for him, but he is consistent. Blatantly Indestad. This one here would probably have to be Grönberg, but not as an AM, maybe. Who was it? It was Lindset here, potentially as a box-to-boxer, though. And then Hellborg next to him, right? I think there's options, at least. I'd maybe rather play Kent Ore Antonsen there, but there we go. Yeah, it would have to be Helgeson, probably. Or Borgström. What about Helgeson? How's he? Yeah, he's actually all right. Wide centre-back on the left. I wanted to put Gomez in the middle, didn't I? Because of his pace. And then... I guess we have Solskjaer and Knudsen either side, depending on their foot. We'll have a look. So he's got no left foot at all. What about Solskjaer? Okay, that's actually perfect. Solskjaer can go on the left, and then Knudsen on the right, since they have got preferred feet on those particular situations. I don't think it's that bad. But the real issue you'll see here is the secondary striker. It's non-existent in this team at the moment. And I think it would require a lot of moving and shaking, particularly when you look at some of the players that wouldn't be in the team based on that. You've got the likes of Conte, Eskison, Wallum. There's a lot of players with high value here that could potentially, some of them want to leave already apparently, that we could maybe shift around to bring in some cash flow. This better not be your striker, Tromso. Oh, it's a left wing back. Are you joking? They sold Christopher Turnerson to Christiansen for 100k, and he's a pretty solid left wing back who would have fitted into this team perfectly. At least he's not a striker. 275 grand though they picked up that for. I think there's room to move some money around here. So what's the schedule actually looking like? So it's, yeah, 7th of April. So plenty of time to move some money about. And hopefully, I think we could sell one of the guys that we don't really need in terms of position-wise to allow us to then bring in a couple of guys that we absolutely do need position-wise. And I think those areas are very clear. I think we need more depth at centre-back because we only have 3. Essentially, and they're all playing. So depth there is obviously key when you're playing a back 3. I want to shift a couple of the wide players that I don't think could move inside effectively, and we need to find a striker, essentially. I think that's really our biggest issue right now. And maybe strength at wingbacks too. All sorts of stuff to do before the Sarpsborg game. Lots of friendlies to schedule, lots of transfer activity to do to hopefully get ourselves a squad ready for our first season in charge of Tromso. He's gone to the very far north. There's a lot of thinking can be done up here. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have, drop a like on the video. That'd be lovely. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be gorgeous too. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and of course it's Showdown this weekend too. So do check that out in the evenings. But yes, let me know your thoughts on the whole yearly thing I was talking about earlier in the video as well in the comments, so we can sort of plan out the stipulations for the rest of the save, I suppose. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Hold your gun, capybara, bye-bye.